We're going to be chatting allergies in the first hour of the programme. And people who suffer from severe allergies are saying they would actually like the next government to appoint an allergy tsar. Now, we're not talking just allergies like hay fever, which we've been chatting about on breakfast, and don't go there with me about hay fever. But in this very severe, lives are lost when things aren't done to be more conscientious and concerned and careful when it comes to allergies. So there are some people saying that they want the next government to appoint an allergy tsar. Former Love Island star Jack Fowler, in the last few weeks, has said he needed 5 tanks of oxygen and an EpiPen after suffering a severe allergic reaction on a flight to Dubai. And Jack joins me now alongside Nadim Ednan-Laperouse, who is one of the founders of the Natasha Allergy Research Foundation. Hi to both of you first.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, Ben.
Jack, do you want to start me off? I mean, 5 tanks of oxygen and an EpiPen as well after an allergic reaction. Just describe what happened.
So I was on my first tour date. I was going to Dubai, and I was wrongly given a cashew nut. And after telling my cabin crew numerous times that I am severely allergic and anaphylactic to nuts, I was reassured that the food I was being given had no nuts in. And I wasn't given a menu. I was asked if I want chicken or fish. And I actually said there and then, what ones hasn't got nuts in? And I was told neither. So I opted for the chicken. And then again, when it was given to me, I asked, are you sure there's no nuts in this? And I was told no nuts, just chicken and rice. So I trusted my Emirates cabin crew. I went with what they told me, and unfortunately, it was the one thing I asked not to have, as it contained nuts in it. And it was only when I had the nut did I then get a menu after demanding to see it. I was obviously realizing there and then that I was, couldn't breathe within seconds of having the nut. Did I see on the menu in big bold letters, creamy cashew nut chicken curry? And immediately I was now living my worst possible nightmare, being 35,000 feet up in the air, knowing the real possibility of me dying. Anaphylaxis is fatal. And so I had to take my EpiPen. I was given 5 tanks of oxygen to keep me stabilized. And it was extremely scary. And to be honest with you, something that could have been completely avoidable if, the cabin crew just said, I don't know if it's got nuts in it, I'll double check. Or, here's a menu, you can choose for yourself. Because if I was given the menu, you could see in big, bold letters that it contained nuts.
I don't know where to start on that, Jack, in hearing that story for the first time. First of all, that moment, that realization when it says cashew nuts and you've eaten it, that must just be the worst. Absolute
living nightmare. Because I know that cashew nut is actually the worst nut for me. So it was the real possibility, and it was the reality that I'm in a serious situation where there's no doctor. There's no real medical facility that can really stabilize me in a way that I know I need it, because I've had previous anaphylactic reactions before. So, it just felt a very, very much negligent, because it could have completely been avoided. I think if we was able to just completely take nuts off all airlines, it would make such a big difference. And having a diet and having food without nuts in it is easy. I've lived my whole life without having nuts in my diet. And so if we can't take nuts off planes, it could honestly save lives.
And at that point, when you flagged up with the cabin crew, what had happened? Were they alert then to the brevity of the situation?
To be honest with you, I feel like when I asked them, because actually when I first had the chicken curry, I didn't actually know what was going on because I still believed there was no nuts in what I was eating. So when I asked the cabin crew afterwards, I said, "What's in this? I feel my throat's closing up and I'm allergic to nuts. What's in this?" I was told again by the cabin crew that it had no nuts in it. And it was only once I demanded to see, well, my friend actually demanded to see the menu, that we saw what it was for the first time. And I kind of felt as if the cabin crew maybe have been told what to do in the situation, but I felt like they were very flustered and they was very obviously concerned, but it all was a little bit slow. And I felt like, the main cabin supervisor was going back and forth to the pilot, explaining what was going on, and all the while I was just getting worse. I was deteriorating. My throat was closing up more. My whole body was becoming hot and very itchy, and it just got to the point where I said to the flight attendant, I said, "Look, if you don't land the plane soon, I'm gonna die." And I think it was a real reality, which was so scary.
And you've teamed up now with Megan McKenna, who suffers from a wheat allergy, basically to ask for an allergy tsar in the next government. Just to explain a bit of the theory behind that, what would they do?
Well, yeah. So
sorry, this is for you. Do you want to come in, Nadim? Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, if that's okay, because I just happen to have it really in front of my mind at the moment because that's what we're working. So yeah, it's Nadim here, and kindly, Jack and Megan are both, lending their voices really to help raise this important issue on behalf of millions of people in the United Kingdom. And just to touch on what Jack was talking about, I lost my daughter, 15 years of age, who died on an aeroplane from food allergy in front of me. She passed away in front of me. I couldn't save her life. Using CPR, giving her 2 EpiPen injections made no difference, and she died on the plane in front of me. That is, I think, another way of expressing what is in Jack's mind. The fear of death is so real when you go through this. And I think for anyone who's come across that almost dying, it is a very horrific place to be, to realize you can be gone from this earth within a matter of 10, 15 minutes from food allergy. And that's why Jack and Megan, I think, we're really thankful for them both to help highlight the call for an allergy czar, which, what does that really mean? Well, it really means that we're asking the next government, whoever they are, essentially to come and meet with us, really a short meeting, and we can very clearly tell them about food allergy and what's not working well in this country. And that's why myself and my wife, Tanya, we get contacted every month from families whose British children or teenagers die in the United Kingdom from food allergies. And I was just talking to one mum this morning whose 19-year-old died from a nut allergy 2 weeks ago as a shock, basically. There was an EpiPen, they used it didn't make any difference, and they were dead in 30 minutes. This is a reality. It's every month we're talking about here. And this has to stop. And the allergy czar, we're calling on the government to appoint an allergy czar, which is really someone who's paid by the government to look at the way the United Kingdom works in looking after allergy services, whether it's the NHS or schools, and to fill in the holes. There are lots of potholes about care and what happens and what should happen. And this is what the role is of an allergy czar, to try and make things work better, to help save people's lives and improve their lives. When you've got millions of people who are food allergic in this country, it's only right that your elected government, the people we vote for at the end of the day, should say, hey, this is something real. We understand it's a big concern to people like Jack, young people and children, and their families, and we want to make this right. And that's all we're asking. It's fair is fair. You know, you can't ask for more, really. Just come meet with us, hear the stories, then go ahead and do the right thing by your citizens that you represent in this country. And that's ultimately what an allergy czar, you know, the government should do, is appoint an allergy czar. It's not a big ask. It's just to do the right thing by the people that put you in power.
And just quickly back to you, Jack. When did your incident happen on the flight?
About 2 weeks ago now.
So 2 weeks ago. So Nadim, how do you feel? You know, this is so many years after you've described what happened to you, and thank you for bravely recanting that. And I think our hearts of myself and my listeners are all with you after sharing that story, Nadim. How does it feel when, you know, that amount of time that's lapsed since it happened to you? Jack's gone through that just 2 weeks ago.
Oh, I don't know how to just put it in words, really. You have to kind of remain polite about it. We're on radio at the end of the day. It is shocking that actually in the 8 years that have passed by since my own daughter died, that every month another child or teenager has died in the UK or more since then. And we know 50 families have lost their children now since our own daughter died in the UK. This has to end, along with all those hospitalizations, 25,000 hospitalizations per year for anaphylaxis to food. It's ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. And hearing Jack's story, and he's brave to say it, because I understand emotionally it is not easy for a young person like Jack to keep recounting a story of what is essentially a near-death experience. You know, that's really hard. It underlyingly has some significant impact. And thank you, Jack, for doing that. We need people like Jack. We need people to listen to what Jack's saying here on the radio and line up with what we're asking. Go to the Natasha Allergy Research Foundation, the website, Natasha Allergy. Just Google Natasha Allergy, and you'll see on the website is a letter to the government, an open letter. And we just ask listeners if they care enough about this, basically, if they have a friend or someone in their family or themselves has a food allergy, just sign that letter. You just add your name into the website, and this adds to the tens of thousands of people that have already signed the letter. And that is a powerful message to the government to be. And it's really important that we win this once and for all. It's taken 3 years of campaigning, and we're not quite there yet. And we've got to get this across the line for people like Jack and for Megan and many other people in this country.
And Jack, thank you from me as well for sharing your story. I just want to close with what you think, Jack, with regard to, you know, taking it to government, taking it to the next level. What would you like to see the next government do when it comes to managing severe allergies like yours and Megan's?
I would like for what happened to me and let's say what happened to Natasha to never happen again. You know, I'm able to sit here now and talk to you about it, and Natasha isn't. And for me, I can voice how scary it is, and it is petrifying not knowing, you know, what is in the food and being wrongly advised. And we need more clarity. We need more clarity. We need the next government to step in and prevent it happening, because 50 families is 50 too many.
Jack and Nadim, thank you for joining me this morning. Wish you all the best. You take care.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Jack and Nadim there. Nadim Ednan-Laperouse, who's one of the founders of the Natasha Allergy Research Foundation. Jack Fowler, former Love Island star, talking about his severe allergic reaction on a flight to Dubai 2 weeks ago. A spokesperson for Emirates has told the BBC they've apologised for Mr. Fowler's experience and said the safety and health of our customers is taken very seriously. While Emirates aims to cater to customers with specific needs by offering a variety of special meals that cover medical, dietary and religious requirements, we cannot guarantee a nut-free in-flight environment, they said in a statement. We urge travellers with dietary or other medical requirements to check our website and consult their doctor before travel. That is a statement from Emirates saying we cannot guarantee a nut-free in-flight environment, which is what Jack is calling for. Over to you on this. If you are someone who is severely affected by a food allergy. What do you make of what Jack and Nadim have said there? Maybe you are someone who is at risk of anaphylaxis. You always have an EpiPen close by. You teach your friends and your family what to do should it happen. Give me a ring. Let me know your experiences. WhatsApp 08000 321 333. Start your message with the word Essex as well. And you can ring 0800 111 40 41 2. Do you support what Nadim and Jack are saying? If you live with a severe allergy, what is it like constantly having to check, to double check, to rely on people you don't know in a restaurant to just say, oh yeah, have that, it hasn't got nuts. And that's it. You've got to take their word for it. You've never met them, and you've got to go, yep, that's fine, you'll be fine. What is that like? Give me a ring, 0800 111 40 41, 10:34